The instant gratification loop. If waiting for things you wanted actually built character, an entire generation wouldn't be drowning in debt they can't explain. And here's the thing. It's not their fault. Yesterday, someone spent $47 on lunch. Not at a restaurant. On their couch. One click. Delivered in 28 minutes. Scrolled TikTok while waiting. Ate it in 8 minutes. Forgot about it by dinner. 2 hours later, they did it again. $94 in one day, on food they barely tasted, from a kitchen 15 feet away. And the scariest part? They didn't even realize they'd done it. See, in 1972, psychologist Walter Mischel ran the famous marshmallow test. Kids who could resist eating one marshmallow for 15 minutes got 2 instead. The kids who waited ended up with better grades, better relationships, better financial outcomes decades later. But here's what nobody talks about. Those kids lived in a world where waiting wasn't optional. You wanted new shoes? You saved up, drove to the mall, hoped they had your size, waited in line, drove home. Every single step required effort. Delay was just reality. Today? Click. 2-day shipping. Buy now, pay later. Same-day delivery. The entire economy has been redesigned to eliminate the gap between wanting something and having it. And your brain was never built for this. Here's how it works. Your brain releases dopamine when you anticipate a reward, not when you actually get it, when you're waiting for it. That's why Christmas morning as a kid felt better than the actual toys. The waiting was the drug. But when rewards come instantly, no gap, no anticipation, your brain doesn't get satisfied. It just craves the next hit. So you buy again and again. You're not buying things because you want them. You're chasing a dopamine spike that never fully lands, and you need the 48-hour rule. Any non-essential purchase over $50 goes on a maybe list. Wait 48 hours. Still want it? Buy it. If not, you just saved money and broke the cycle. This isn't about willpower. It's about putting friction back into a frictionless system. Social pressure spending. If buying expensive things actually made people wealthy, broke people wouldn't own the nicest shoes in the room. Here's what's really happening. In the 1950s, keeping up with the Joneses meant competing with your neighbors. You saw their new car maybe twice a week. Today, you're competing with 500 people on Instagram, 1,000 on TikTok, and every influencer the algorithm decided you need to see. You're not keeping up with the Joneses anymore. You're keeping up with a curated highlight reel of everyone you've ever met. And here's the psychological trick that's quietly draining your account. You're not buying things because you want them. You're buying them because you think other people expect you to have them. Behavioral economists call this social proof, our natural tendency to act how the people around us act. But social media has cranked that up to a level humans have never experienced before. You book that restaurant because your friends posted about it. You buy those shoes because everyone in your feed has them. You upgrade your phone because, honestly, you're not even sure why anymore. Thomas J. Stanley spent decades studying actual millionaires. His finding? Most of them drive used cars, live in modest homes, and wouldn't be caught dead flexing online. They understand something most people don't. There's a massive difference between looking wealthy and being wealthy. One builds it, the other performs it. Perform the audience test. Before any purchase over $100, ask yourself, if nobody ever knew I had this, would I still want it? If the answer is no, you're not buying the thing. You're buying validation, and validation is the most expensive thing you'll ever purchase. Invisible expenses. If small charges didn't matter, companies wouldn't build entire business models around you forgetting about them. Quick exercise. Name every subscription you're currently paying for. Netflix, Spotify, maybe a gym membership. Done? Now, what about the other ones? That meditation app from 6 months ago. The cloud storage you forgot about. The $4.99 premium feature on something you used exactly once. A study by West Monroe found that people underestimate their monthly subscriptions by an average of $133. That's $1,600 a year just disappearing. And here's why it works so well. Your brain is wired to notice big threats. A $1,000 charge? You feel that immediately. But $9.99? That's not even a coffee. Except it is. It's 12 coffees. Every month, forever. Companies designed it this way. The free trial converts automatically. The renewal happens quietly. The charge is small enough that it flies under your radar on your bank statement. You're not paying for services you use. You're paying for services you forgot existed. It's time for you to do the quarterly subscription audit. Every 3 months, pull up your bank statement. Highlight every recurring charge. Cancel ruthlessly. Simple rule. If you haven't used it in 30 days, it's gone. Because if it was actually valuable, you'd remember it existed. Emotional spending. If retail therapy actually solved problems, the people who shop the most would have the fewest problems. Here's the truth nobody in personal finance wants to say out loud. You don't spend money when you're happy. You spend money when you're stressed, anxious, bored, or sad. Bad day at work? Online shopping. Feeling lonely? Food delivery. Stressed about money? Ironically, you spend more money. The cycle goes like this. Negative emotion to spending, to temporary relief, to guilt, to more negative emotion leads to more spending. You're not solving anything. You're numbing it. And here's the sneaky part. Emotional spending always feels justified in the moment. I deserve this. I worked hard today. It's just this once. But it's never just once. The Journal of Consumer Research found that people in negative emotional states pay up to 30% more for the exact same product compared to people in a neutral state. Your brain isn't making financial decisions when you're emotional. It's medicating. You need the emotion check. Before any non-essential purchase, pause and ask, what am I actually feeling right now? If the answer is anything other than neutral or good, don't buy. Go for a walk. Call a friend. Do something that gives you dopamine for free. The goal isn't to never spend money. It's to stop using money as an emotional painkiller. The Paycheck Reset effect. If earning more money actually solved financial stress, people with higher salaries wouldn't be just as anxious about money as everyone else. But they are. And here's exactly why. There's a psychological glitch that happens every single payday. Your account goes from $200 to $3,000, and your brain immediately resets. That $3,000 doesn't register as money with commitments attached to it. It feels like a windfall, like you just won something, so you spend like it. Behavioral economists call this mental accounting. We treat money differently based on where it came from, not what it's objectively worth. A tax refund feels like free money, even though it's literally your own money the government held for a year. Payday feels like a bonus, even though it's just your salary doing what your salary does. But here's the reality. The money that hits your account on payday is already gone. Rent, utilities, groceries, savings. It's allocated before you even see it. Your brain just doesn't process it that way. It sees a big number and thinks, I can afford that. 2 weeks later, you're back at zero wondering where it all went. To get away from this, you need to automate allocation. The day you get paid, money automatically moves to separate accounts. Rent, bills, savings. What's left after that? That's your spending money. Not the full number, never the full number. Treat payday like a transfer, not a reward. Convenient spending. If paying for convenience actually saved you time, the busiest people wouldn't also be the most financially drained. Think about this. How much would you pay to not cook dinner tonight? $15? $25? $40 with delivery fees and tip? Now multiply that by how many times you've done it this month. Here's what changed. Convenience used to be a luxury, something you'd treat yourself to occasionally. Now it's just the default. Groceries delivered, meals delivered, laundry picked up. Someone assembles your furniture, mows your lawn, walks your dog. Every single one of these services exists because companies figured out one thing. People will pay a serious premium to avoid effort. But here's the trap. You're not actually saving time. You're buying time that you then spend scrolling. The average person spends 2.5 hours a day on social media. That's 17.5 hours a week. But you'll pay $35 to avoid spending 30 minutes cooking. The math doesn't math. So do the time value audit method. For 1 week, track every convenience purchase. Then honestly track what you did with the time you saved. If you spent $60 on delivery to save 2 hours, then spent those 2 hours on your phone, you didn't save time. You just paid $60 to scroll. Lack of expense awareness. If knowing your salary was enough to manage your money, nobody with a stable income would ever feel broke. Quick test. Without looking at your phone, How much did you spend last month? Total. Everything. Can't answer within $200? You have expense awareness blindness. And you're not alone. Most people know their salary, they know their rent, but everything in between? Complete blur. Behavioral economists call this the ostrich effect, our tendency to avoid negative financial information because seeing it forces us to confront it. You don't check your bank account after a night out because you genuinely don't want to know. And as long as you don't know, you don't have to change anything. But here's the truth that changes everything. You cannot fix what you don't measure. Every financial turnaround, personal or business, starts with the same first step. Not budgeting, not investing, not cutting back, just knowing. Because once you see the actual number, your brain automatically starts making different decisions. You don't even need willpower. Awareness does the work. Start doing the weekly total. Every Sunday, write down your total spending from the past 7 days. One number. No judgment, no categories, no guilt. Do it for 4 weeks. You'll start seeing patterns you never noticed. And patterns you can see are patterns you can change.